Welcome to your first lecture video. This video is basically just an introduction to some statistics vocabulary. It's meant to fit in with the start of Module 4. So to start off, first thing is just what is statistics? So statistics is the science of collecting describing analyzing and interpreting data. So we collect information from people, from plants, from animals, whatever, and we use that to describe whatever group it is we're studying. So from here, when we do a study, we're going to have a who, essentially, who is it that we are studying it? That is our population. So this is our noun. It's the noun of the study. So in other words, it's the who is being studied. And it's not one specific person being studied, it's the entire group being studied. So the population is the group of people or objects, animals, etc. that this study is designed to gather information about. We'll have an example later dealing with Bay Area parents. So we're not going to talk to every single Bay Area parent, but the study is designed to be about all Bay Area parents, even if we don't reach them all. Individual. So individuals are the individual people from the population, or the individual objects from the population. So an individual is an individual person or object from the population. It's essentially, when we go to collect information, we can't ask the entire population in one go. We have to collect from individual people. Right? The sample as the set of individuals from the population that we actually managed to get information from. So the sample is the set or the group of individuals. A set of individuals from the population that we actually collect information from. So again, most likely we're not going to be able to talk to every single Bay Area parent, right? So instead we'll talk to some of them and use that information to try to generalize to the broader the whole population of Bay Area parents. The data is just the information that we collect, the set of information that we collect. In our study. And then the variable is, or a variable is a specific characteristic that we are studying about each individual. So the variable is essentially the what about the individual is being studied. So they often call this the characteristic or the trait. And this is the information that we get from a single individual, or the information we are trying to get from each individual. So some examples of information that we could collect from individuals. We could collect someone's age. We could collect someone's height. We might collect their hair color. We may collect their favorite food. These are all pieces of information that we could get from an individual, right? So these are just some possible variables. Our variables we are going to divide into two categories. So we have quantitative variables and categorical variables. Quantitative, we're referring to quantity. So quantitative, otherwise we're talking about quantities. Sorry, that's a little small. So quantitative data for quantity. So it's going to be a number. So the responses we get from individuals are numbers. Categorical variable is named from the word category. So the responses essentially are categories. Basically, they're not numbers. So they're categories or words. In other words, they're not numbers. So if we look at those four variables I wrote before, we can go ahead and classify them. So age, when someone tells you their age, they're going to tell you a number. So age would be a quantitative variable. Similarly, height, people respond with a number, although we respond in a slightly strange way in the States with our however many feet and however many inches, but we could certainly simply tell somebody the total number of inches. So a height is also a quantitative variable. Categorical, hair color is not a number. And similarly, favorite food. is also not a number. So from here, I'm going to give myself a little more space, and then we are going to answer or sort of identify the various vocab words from this here. So this example, a study was run to determine the average number of years of education of Bay Area parents with dependent children. 1,000 parents were randomly selected from lists of patients at pediatric clinics. So in this problem, we're trying to determine the average number of years of education of Bay Area parents with dependent children. So this is the goal of our study. In that goal, we can figure out both who it is we're trying to study, the population, as well as what information we should be collecting from the individuals. So who it is we're trying to study. We're trying to study Bay Area parents with dependent children. Right? So that's the who we're studying. That's our noun. That's going to be our population. So in this problem, our population would be our Bay Area parents with dependent children. The what it is we are studying about them. We're overall trying to determine the average number of years of education, right? But can we, from one individual, get the average number of years of education of the population, or do we take the average later, right? So we will take the average once we have everybody's number of years of education. So the thing that we'll collect from the individual will be simply the number of years of education. So the number of years of education would be the information we collect from the individual. So this is going to be our variable. So the variable will be the number of years of education. The average is what we do to summarize all that information we will collect from the individuals. Since this is the number of years of education, it's a number, it's a quantity. This variable is therefore a quantitative variable. And then the other main thing here is that 1,000 parents who were randomly selected from lists of patients at pediatric clinics, those are the people that actually respond. So our 1,000 parents who were randomly selected from lists of pediatric or patients at pediatric clinics, that is our sample. Those are the people that we are actually spoke or give responses, or at least are hoped to give responses. So our sample is the 1,000 parents, randomly selected, from lists of patients at pediatric clinics. So that's just sort of a really quick overview of some of the vocabulary we will be seeing in statistics.